lover's got humor. He's the giggle at a funeral, knows everybody's disapproval. I should've worshipped him sooner. If the heavens ever did speak, he's the last pure mouthpiece. Every Sunday's getting more bleak, a new poison every week. We were born sick, I heard them say. My church offers no absolutes. He says worship in the bedroom. The only heaven I'll be sent to is when I'm alone with you. I was born sick, but I love it. Command me to be well. Amen. 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 Take me to church. I will worship like a dog at the shrine of your lights. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lights. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life. If I'm a pagan of the good times, my love is the sunlight to keep the God on my side. He demands a sacrifice to drain a whole sea. Get something shiny, something meaty for the main course. There's a fine looking high horse. What you got in the stable? We've got a starving faithful. That looks tasty, that looks plenty. This is hungry work. Take me to church. I'll worship like a god at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church. Oh, at the shrine of your lights. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life. No masters or kings when the ritual begins. There is no sweeter innocence than our gentle sin. In the madness and the soil of that sad earthly scene, only then am I human, only then am I clean. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lights. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church at the shrine of your lights. Oh, you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Okay, how we all doing, motherfuckers? How we all doing? People in the chat asked what song that was. Steve's Jerky. Yes, it was Morgan James' Take Me to Church cover on Postmodern Jukebox. Postmodern Jukebox kicks ass. I highly recommend checking that channel out. Brendan Lasaria sends a StreamLabs tip. Thank you very much for that. Says, here's an idea. Sonichu NFTs. Well, that's definitely an idea. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's a good idea. You know, Like, if you enjoy Civilization, it's not a good idea. If you're trying to summon the old gods and their wrath to destroy us, that might be a good idea. So he says, I bet people want to sing that in church. No, I don't think they do. I don't think they do. It's up there with my personal favorite song, Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley. I prefer his version over the Cohen version. But it's up there with that as far as songs that sound Christian until you actually pay attention to the lyrics. And you realize, oh, it's not actually about theology. Somebody says, did I ever get a chance to see Postmodern Jukebox live? I have not. I really haven't been to any concerts, to be honest with you. That's not entirely true. I went to Matt Baldoni, who I haven't talked to in forever. I really should message him, see how he's doing. But Matt Baldoni, who is in a Bee Gees cover band and a musician friend I've made online, he was in town, and I went ahead and sat in on the local concert he put. But that's it. I really haven't been to any. You got to remember, like, my taste in music is like, what does a 12-year-old white girl and a 25-year-old black guy listen to? And that's me. Like, those two things together, that's me. You know, I like fucking gangster rap. I like fucking pussy-ass pop music. That's most of my shit. Like, with the occasional spattering of your oddball boomer music, which I don't want to admit in front of boomers because they're such smug assholes about that. But I do like some boomer music. But that's most of my taste in music. So what sort of concert am I going to go to where I'm going to fit in? You know what I mean? I'm going to go see Wu-Tang live. I don't think I'm necessarily fitting in there. You know, was I going to go see Britney Spears live back in the day? I don't think I belonged in those sorts of concerts. You know, nowadays with like modern stuff, most rap is garbage these days. A bunch of mumble rap, and then even with some of the current pop, what am I going to go see Dua Lipa fucking live? Because I like 3 of her songs. And be the creepy old guy there. I don't know that that's something I really want to do. So I haven't. I almost saw Lisa Loeb live when I was out in New York. I ended up going with my dad and some young cousins, and I couldn't really if I would have changed my ticket to a later time, then they would have had no way home when they got to the train station. You got impeccable taste, I will admit. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if you're being sarcastic there. I'm gonna assume you are. So he says I secretly like 4 Dua Lipa songs. New Rules is a banger. I'm gonna say New Rules is a banger. And what is the other one I really, really like? Break My Heart. Break My Heart's fucking banger of a song. I love that song. And there's probably others I enjoy. By the way, Domino Mortis, good seeing you in the chat. I heard things been. I heard you haven't been having a very good time as of late, so it's good seeing you in the chat. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not, like most guys my age, of like my interests, even other nerds that would love comic books and bullshit like that. They're probably like big fans of Tool. You know what I mean? Like, and I would rather stick a fucking power drill in my ear than listen to Tool. I would rather stick power tools in my ear, ironically enough, than listen to Tool. Like my 2 favorite musicians ever, and I'm actually currently reading biographies of both of them, are Mariah Carey and Billy Joel. So you make of that what you will. And you know who I would put third if he'd have stopped in like 2003 would be Eminem. if you only consider like the first 3 albums, I'd put Eminem as like third. But he just kept going. It wasn't good. So that considerably knocks him lower down on the list. But like in a parallel universe where he just, did his 3 albums and said, okay, that's all I got in me, and just checked out, fucking legend in that universe. Nowadays with the awfully hot coffee pot, not so much. Somebody in the chat says Tool is overrated. As far as I'm concerned, if one person likes Tool, they're overrated. If the fucking lead singer's mom pretends to like that band, they're overrated. Fuck Tool. There's never been a more appropriate name for a band, because everyone walking around in a shirt that says Tool, it's just yes you are. Lordy. So, let's talk about some shit, shall we? And then hopefully make tons of super chats, because I could use the money. Been a rough couple of weeks. Let's see. So before we get into this, so last night there was a big anti-Ethan Ralph stream PPP and Worski did, and I did listen to most of it, and most of it was pretty fucking funny. I will say, I've said this on the Discord, and I'm gonna say it publicly. The whole Jesse from Pod Awful bit didn't sit with me, because first of all, Jesse isn't funny. At least based on, I've never watched Pod Awful. This is my first exposure to Jesse from Pod Awful. He wasn't fucking funny. But he's also like going to Ralph's neighborhood and like standing outside his house and like doing a bunch of in real life shit. Like, nah, dude. That shit ain't cool. It's not. Like, I get that Ralph is a shithead, and there's really no defending his behavior the last few years. I get that. And I get that Ralph's done fucking terrible things. I get that. Fine. It's still, like, and yeah, Ralph is milking it for sympathy right now. And making a bigger deal of it than it is. I get all that, and I agree with all that. That said, though, it's not fucking cool. It's not fucking cool. Like, you don't take an internet feud and go bother someone in real life. Like, it's fucking gay. It's fucking gay, all right? It's gay when Pod Awful does it. It's gay when Ethan Ralph does it, okay? If one day I do it to somebody, it'll be just as fucking gay then. It's fucking gay. Don't do it. So that would be my take on that last night. And also, like, look, I get it, shit on Ralph and all, but, like, there's no winners in this, okay? Like, PPP is a two-faced fucking blob of shit. Andy Worski is basically a crackhead. There's nobody involved in any of this that's... Somebody says Pod Awful's antics were at least a bit funny. That's the other thing. Like, I'm watching, like, the whole Pod Awful, and I'm like, this isn't funny. Like, they had, not Baked Alaska, not him. I'm thinking of getting names mixed up in my head. They had fucking King of Pole on, and he was going through his history with Ralph, and that shit was actually interesting, and they fucking bumped King of Pole, like, in the middle of his story, so that we could watch Jesse from Pod Awful fucking harass Ralph in his actual neighborhood. That was fucking bullshit, man. So he says enable super chats. I have it super chats enabled. Go to streamlabs.com/thebechtloff. Those are your super chats. There are no fucking YouTube super chats. Do you think for a second this channel would be monetized? Are you kidding me? I couldn't stream all of last week. You think I'm fucking monetized? Streamlabs.com/thebechtloff. PayPal.me/thebechtloff. Thebechtloff.store if you want to donate. Those are the 3 ways. Streamlabs if you want your message read live. Somebody says I take no sides and look at it as entertainment. I mean, that's fine. And look, it's fine if you want to be like, Ralph's a piece of shit. I don't care what happened to him. It's funny. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, don't say. There's a lot of people that want to turn this into, I guess, like sports ball, and they want to root for a team, and they want to, like, oh, we're getting Ralph, we're getting him. Like, no, all I saw was a fat sociopath harass another fat sociopath in his neighborhood, and it's like, guys, I threw a box of diapers into his yard. All right, cool. Somebody says, Bedglov, did your dad take care of himself during your coof? Oh, he caught it. Don't worry. He's about like a day or 2 behind me. He's over most of it, though. He'll be fine. Somebody says, Ralph is our Jerry Springer. I don't know about that, man. Jerry Springer was a lot more entertaining than Ralph is, at least right now. Because, by the way, while PPP was putting on this show, and it was a hell of a show, all things considered, what's Ralph doing? He's got fucking Richard Spencer on. Cool, I guess. If it's 2017. Good God, man. I wouldn't bother having Richard Spencer on. Like, and I got fucking 13 people watching me right now. I don't care enough about Richard Spencer to even let him on. Like, who cares? Who still is out there like, I want to hear what Richard Spencer has to say on anything ever. Yeah, don't fucking bother people in their fucking home. That's ridiculous. Like, I feuded with a fucking ex-friend, and it got nasty and heated, but, like, I never was, like, I knew where he worked for that brief fucking moment where he actually had a real job during all that, which he fucking sabotaged. But I didn't say that on air, did I? Don't do that kind of shit, man. Don't put people's addresses out there. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to their home. And like, knock it off, man. That shit's fucking gay. I can't emphasize that enough. It's fucking gay. Don't do it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and look at some stuff. And by the way, folks, once again, if you want to support the show, streamlabs.com/thebechtloff, paypal.me/thebechtloff, links down below. No, there are not YouTube Super Chats. I'm not doing YouTube Super Chats. I'm not monetized. I will likely never be monetized ever again. That's why I have like $50 in my fucking AdSense account that I can't fucking have. It's just, I can go visit it, but I can't actually have it. He says if I cared about what feds are doing, I'd join Patreon front. There you go. So we got a tweet here I want to read out. This was a little while ago, but I feel like talking about it some. So this is from some Spurg, known as Shouts of Truth. And he tweets on the 12th, "You need to kill the boy. No more video games, no more little Japanese cartoons, no more fantasy football, Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. No more large groups of men goofing around in dorms and studio apartments. No more full send and that's itty. I don't know what that means. No more beer pong, no more Drake. The boy needs to die. No more old little Japanese cars that go really fast but look like shit. No more strawberry flavored protein powder. That's okay. No more high fives after minor non-achievements. No more sports jerseys. No more soda. So this kind of... Yeah, I made fun of it on Twitter when I first saw it and kind of moved on. But the more I thought about it, the more it was like... This really is like the whole Jack Murphy industry in a nutshell. You know, Jack Murphy made a living pretending to be an alpha male because he's kind of big and burly and has a big old beard. And there's a lot of children of varying ages, but mentally children, even if not physically, who see that and they're just like, that's a man, right? Because they have nothing but a cartoonish view of reality. And by the way, this man here has a cartoonish view of reality. Like, you know, oh yeah, no more fun. And look, there's a lot of people out there that should, you know, I should cut out the soda entirely, for example. Doing kind of good on that until the last week or so. I really haven't... Actually, I guess I didn't have much soda this week, but I wasn't paying any attention to what I was eating. Though, in all fairness, I wasn't eating a lot this past week. I probably lost weight just from shitting out half of it. But there's a lot of people that need to cut it out with some stuff. You know, I know a lot of guys that are playing way too much fucking video games. They're wasting way too much time with it. They're not getting other shit done they need to be getting done. And in some cases, it's just as simple as they need to fucking broaden their horizons. You know, they need... You know, go read a book, nigga. Like, go watch a movie or something once in a while. Like, just something else, okay? You know, I had... I love the guy to death, so I hate to pick on him, but I had somebody want to try and tell me that a Final Fantasy MMO was one of the, story-wise, one of the best works of fiction they've ever experienced. And I thought, oh my God, read a book. Like, I wasn't trying to be a dick, but I'm just like, okay. Holy fuck. Fucking Final Fantasy MMO. Okay. But whatever. I don't know. I didn't play it. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe I'm just totally underestimating the Final Fantasy MMO's awesome narrative abilities. Maybe. But like, yeah, there's a lot of people that need to put some of that down for a bit. But that's not being an adult. Having no hobbies is not being an adult. In fact, killing the boy, as he puts it, isn't being an adult. It's actually being a teenager. See, it's a teenager that's very, very afraid of appearing like a kid. They're desperate to assert their adulthood. But once you have, you don't really care anymore. And again, you should try to be better. You know, work out and broaden your horizons and get more done and blah, 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 blah. Fine. But that's a lot different than this. And there's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of young men out there, and nobody, they weren't ushered into adulthood in any significant way. You know, some of them never, you know, well into their young adult years, never really had a real job. You know, they went to school and whatever, or maybe they just never had a good job. Who knows? A lot of these guys never gotten their fucking dick wet. And that, by the way, goes a long way towards it. One of these guys, a short fat otaku, was talking about this, and I wish I could find the original tweet, but I'm too lazy. One of these masculine guys was talking about how you're not supposed to enjoy sex with your wife. Because that's the mother of your children, and you're supposed to revere her more. You save the sex for the mistress. Which, aside from a lot of that coming from some of this Puritan bullshit of sex being dirty. No, that's not. That's not how you. That's not mature. But a lot of these people. Let's take a look at this guy's. And by the way, he had the classic response of, "Oh, people got mad at me. I must be touching a nerve." Yeah, it's that typical, like, I said something stupid and people are making fun of me. Let's take a look at this guy. I'm trying to find some stuff on here. God, it's whatever. We'll just show it to you. So much of this it's almost not even something to be made fun of, because it's just nothing. The sheep are being skull dragged to the slaughterhouse without mercy. Ex-junkie and fat fuck turned fit guru pale in comparison to the man who has expanded past the depths of his mind and faced the darkness without losing himself to substance. Crackhead turned motivational. Jared from Subway types failed to resonate with truly powerful man. I think there's another reason I'd rather... I think there's a reason to not listen to Jared from Subway that has nothing to do with his weight, his waistline. That's just me. Best way to recover from a stupendous blunder is to not make one at all. Like, I can't trust a dude without multiple girls. Massive liability. This guy's a sociopath. You understand that, right? No jaguar or lion has a self-help book in the jungle. Man is the only one. Well, yes, that's because they can't read. That might be one of the reasons, guy. That's right, Chad. He's a Kang. But this is the kind of shit that a lot of young men will just eat up because none of these motherfuckers had a dad, I guess. I mean, you sit here and say, like, it's cringe, and I think it's cringe too, but, like, there's a lot of people that are like, shut up and take my money right now to this guy. So he says, that's how you get your wife to divorce you. That is literally the leading reason for divorce, disappointment in a bedroom. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't understand these guys that can't fuck their woman. Like, there's a lot of things I fuck up in a relationship. because I'm a thoughtless, selfish, self-absorbed dickhead. I'm an insensitive prick. A lot of other things like that. I'm also riddled with insecurities. There's that. I barely know how to be intimate with somebody. I don't know how to let anybody in. I don't really know how to act around other people for an extended periods of time. I'm used to my own space. There's a fucking lot of reasons. I'm an absolutely shit boyfriend. But if I can toot my own horn here for a second, chat, I got a pretty decent dick game. It's frankly the only reason the various girls of my life have put up with me long as they did. So yeah, I don't necessarily understand a lot of these guys. You know, like, why are you with somebody you don't want to fuck? So he said even Jack Donovan never took the topic of masculinity to these ridiculous extremes. Well, again, like, there's so many guys that are just desperate for this. Okay? And like I said, there's a lot of guys that, you know, a lot of guys that are, I want to say, like, let's say born after 95. A lot of them, I mean, like, there's a good amount of them that do need to put down the fucking Chinese cartoons for a while and go do something else. And chief among those things is go get your dick wet, okay? You want my fucking advice on how to be a man? Let's say you're a teenager right now. I'm going to tell you this right now. Go get your dick wet. Now, that ain't the most spiritual sounding advice in the world. I'm aware, okay? You know, good old friend of the show, Pastor Tom, he's not going to come on here and tell you to do that. But I'm going to tell you to do that. I'm going to tell you to get your dick wet, all right? I'm going to tell you right now that if you're like 25 and you're a virgin, you're doing it wrong. All right? I mean, ideally, you should be fucking married at 25. Let's be real. Ideally. But if you've just never known a woman's touch at 25, that ain't it, Chief. Go get your dick wet. And I'm not acting like I'm an expert on how to do that, okay? I couldn't tell you. Almost all the women in my life just came to me, okay? Now, part of that's because of the particular type of woman I like. But they just were like, hey, you're my boyfriend now. And I was like, all right. And then after a while, they just decided that was no longer the case, generally speaking, is how that would go. And I don't really understand how I made either one of those things happen when you get right down to it. It was just sort of like the weather. It just sort of happened. I'm not convinced I had any control over it. I think they're just things that happened to me. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. You gotta get your dick wet. It is not good that man be alone. You know, I got one buddy, and I mean, he ain't a virgin, but he suffers from perpetually dry dick. And I tell him a lot, man. I'm like, you know, you need to go out there and find a woman and fall in love with her and make her fucking come. Like, you need to do that, all right? And, you know, you're so sick of hearing just get laid incel. And I'm like, I'm sure you are, but maybe, yeah, go do that. Because if you're sitting around depressed and angry all the time and you've got a perpetually dry dick, you can't convince me that those two things are unrelated. You just can't. I don't believe you. So, go do that. Yeah, I guess. It's one of my chief advice to you. I mean, this is not something. I don't think I'm letting any kind of cat out of the bag here. Like, you should. You want to go be like Beardson? You want to go be like Beardson? Do you watch a Beardson stream and think this is a guy I would like to emulate? Because I would rather die than be like Beardson. If I thought I was even halfway to being like Beardson, I would put a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger and put my brains on the wall. Because what? In Minecraft, of course, Susan. I'm pretty sure they've caught on to the in Minecraft thing. We're gonna have to come up with something else. But I think they're on to us on that chat. I don't know. Being a man isn't being a sociopath. It's not being joyless. It's not never having fun. Try getting a job. That's a good way to be a man. Try getting your dick wet once in a while. That would be also another thing I'd recommend. I wonder if this guy's got a YouTube channel. Maybe we can learn some wisdom from his YouTube channel. He doesn't have anything. He's not pimping any websites. You would think a guy like this would be pimping something. Is he just all about like pretending to be a man on YouTube, on Twitter? Is it literally all he's doing here is just trying to That's right, Chad. Being a man is about using a wheelbarrow, obviously. Since I have 2 jobs and exercise a lot. Well, that's fantastic. You should actually. I mean, you're doing better than me in that regard. Like, yeah, this guy ain't got no, like... See, look, guys, he's deep in thought. He's deep in thought. I will also say, like, are these his shoes? Is this supposed to be his shoes? Am I supposed to be hearing about manhood by a guy that's wearing pink leather, pink lizard skin shoes or something? Look, he's got a knife on the table, though. See that? Got a knife out on the table and The Art of War. He's reading The Art of War, guys. Is that... I guess that's his girl. Property of King Clyde. Okay, so... See, look, he's got his girl saying Property of King Clyde. He's got... This is so 14-year-old sleaze. Jesus. This is his banner. Oh, my God. Property of King Clyde. He's a fucking dom. But then, look, he's reading the awful Art of War, guys, with the knife on the table. And the gayest shoes I've ever fucking seen in my life. Do those shoes come with a tampon for your pussy? Oh, my God. Now that says masculinity like some shit you bought at Elton John's fucking yard sale. Hey, are they gator? Well, it's the Crocodile Rock is what they are. Oh, wow. This man has the balls. Imagine making your girl wear like a shirt that says property of your fucking Twitter handle. Jesus. Like, that's not his name, all right? Like, I mean, maybe Clyde is his name. Good God. Whiskey is a slave drink, you know. Oh, man. Somebody tell Damien. Why did I say Damien? Maybe because this guy's... I've watched too much Omen lately. Somebody tell Davis. Somebody says, yeah, he's still reading The Art of War. He's still in the middle. He hasn't finished it yet. That's right, chat. Never knew me a better time. So he said, before he says Beardson is married too, so he did something right. Did he? Is that why his wife finally realized she's married to one of the most worthless sacks of shit on the planet and is divorce raping him right now? Took the fucking car. But that's okay because Beardson doesn't leave the house. So he's barely noticed. She woke up one day and realized that her husband is a complete and utter sociopath who looks like he smells bad. God, you just look at that fucking... Look at Beardson streaming and just look at his, like, behind him into his home. And you're like, I bet you that place smells like a zombie's vagina. Like, just rank as rank could be. So he says that's fake. The Art of War is only 100 pages. I don't know. It looked like one of those, like, ones with the really thick pages. You know what I mean? Plus, there's probably a lot of commentary in it. You know, it's one of those... He's getting divorced. Yeah, he's getting divorced, man. I'm sorry to tell you. The number 2 man in the Groypers there is getting divorced. I'm like the last guy, Matt. I'm like the last guy you associate with that didn't go crazy. Like, when is the Forney curse gonna come from me? When am I gonna just go nuts? Lose my shit. It's like fucking Final Destination. Just, Chief 4 hostess is leaving Beardson. Oh, man. Oh, lordy. Somebody should at least do something cool when you do. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, Clary didn't go crazy. Okay, all right. So I guess the curse isn't absolute. All right, we're good. We're good. And Forney's known Clary longer than he's known me, so he'll get Clary before he gets me. I kid, Forney. I kid. You guys should all go buy Terror House books, by the way. Highly recommend. Highly recommend, especially when my Taylor Swift Bulbasaur Femdom Erotica gets published. It's going to be great. Hopefully, I'll make gobs of money, and then I can go crazy. I can self-destruct in a spectacular way. Just one for the ages. Let's see. I still can't believe this guy doesn't have something he's selling. Like, it's just so hard to believe this guy doesn't. like that he doesn't have a YouTube channel, or he's not trying to. Let's see, like the tweet here. Beer has to be the biggest lie ever. Sold to you as a manly drink, makes you emotional, raises estrogen level, gives you breasts. A weak percentage of alcohol, nothing manly about beer. I hate beer. I think beer fucking tastes like ass. But I don't know. So it says, does reading erotica count as reading a book? Yes, but only if it's the stuff I make. So it says, I can see a Taylor Swift Bulbasaur erotica making bank to an extremely niche audience. Once that money rolls in, I can be a mad king with a harem of redheads. So he says, all these meltdowns from dissonant voices on this side of the internet made me realize the red pill is a hell of a drug. See, the thing with, like, the red pill, I know. There's something about, and I'm sure you've all felt it, because everybody here, you know, you're not normie. You know, you obviously see more than your average fucking MSNBC viewer, and, you know, significantly more than even your average Fox viewer. You see through a lot of bullshit. And there's, especially when you first start to really see through a lot of bullshit, that's an addictive feeling. It makes you feel better than other people, which is an incredibly addictive and poisonous feeling. Well, a lot of people, they just got to find the next high, okay? They got to get high off a bigger dose of red pill and a bigger dose of red pill. And next thing you know, they're like, you know, gravity isn't real and the moon is a mirror and Jews fake dinosaurs and like just ridiculous bullshit. Somebody says beer has been around for a long time and the problem is fairly recent. Here's the thing with a lot of people. So I saw something on Twitter the other day, and it was, again, one of these, you know, paper alphas. And they were talking about how, like, you should eat a whole bunch of eggs and bacon for breakfast, like, every fucking day. And they made the argument, if your grandfather ate it, it's probably healthy. Well, see, that's a really stupid argument. Because, see, your grandfather ate whatever the fuck he wanted because he didn't get a lot of food in a lot of cases. Not you know, not the same amount we do. Plus, he worked a lot more. You know, like, yeah, your grandfather who worked in a fucking coal mine for, you know, 10 hours a day could eat whatever the fuck he wanted, all right? My grandfather, who, my dad's parents had him when they were particularly old, too. It was a false menopause. So my grandfather was old enough to be my great-grandfather. And this is a man who spent most of his younger years in the coal mine and then, you know, graduated to the much cushier job of a steel mill. And yeah, that guy ate whatever the fuck he wanted his whole life. Never was he concerned about counting calories or anything of the slightest. In fact, I'll go one step further. And it's a really weird thing because he was such a grizzled, hard man. For at least the entirety of my life that I knew him, until he died when I was about 12 or 13, and a little bit before, he ate every fucking morning a giant bowl of Fruity Pebbles. I'm not lying. I never was sure why, because he was never even a big sweets guy. But a giant bowl of Fruity Pebbles every fucking morning. And along with other stuff sometimes. But a fucking giant ass bowl of Fruity Pebbles. Near as I could tell, that happened because he loved the Flintstones back when it was originally on TV. He thought it was the funniest fucking thing in the world. And I just imagine at some point when Fruity Pebbles first came out, he just saw Fred Flintstone on the box and was like, well, that's good enough for me. But every fucking morning. And how much fucking sugar is in that? It's like pure fucking sugar. But even when he was retired, that man was like working out, like up until he finally was just really, really old. I mean, up into his 70s. You know, late 70s even. That man, you know, was outside chopping fucking wood and shit like that. Just never staying still. So, like, yeah, like you can, if you're working like a fucking maniac, you know, you really don't have to count calories. You think those guys that, like, all those guys that are fucking training to be in fucking superhero movies and shit, you know those guys, like, just eat calories like you wouldn't fucking believe, right? You know, because they're spending like 14 hours a day getting fucking trained professionally by a drill sergeant, essentially. Like, yeah, none of them are watching their fucking calories. You know, it's somebody like me that stands in front of a fucking machine all day at a box factory that's got to watch his fucking calories. You know, sits on ass in front of this mic, sits on ass in the fucking in the car all day. Like, that's the people that gotta fucking watch the damn calories. So yeah, nobody was getting fat drinking beer back in the day because nobody was getting fat. It's kind of a somewhat recent phenomenon that the vast majority of the populace can sit on fucking ass. Forney says Beardson had kids from a Darwinian perspective. He won. It's fucking a shame. The idea that somebody has to call Beardson dad is guys like Beardson having kids are why I will never be entirely pro-life. Yeah, I just never. Good God, Ralph's got a second on the way. Man. I still can't believe King Clyde here doesn't have a fucking YouTube channel. That's a shame. I would love nothing more than to hear him fucking go on about shit. Mundane Matt has kids. Well, I think Mundane Matt's wife has kids, in all fairness. Oh, yeah, that's right. Beardson said his wife was infertile. Beardson ain't got no kids. That's right. I forgot. That was actually one of the things. He was blaming it on his wife being infertile. Which, personally, I have a hard time believing Beardson is extremely fertile. Thankfully, Beardson does not have kids. Thankfully. Let's all praise Jesus for that fact. Like, unironically, let's just sit here right now and take a moment and thank our Heavenly Father that there is no child in this world that has to call Beardson dad. For all the bad things in this world, At least that is not one of them. King Clyde. I'm looking up King Clyde on YouTube. There's got to be something with this guy, right? Apparently King Clyde is a fucking musician, a musical group. It's a rapper, apparently, who's probably more fucking alpha than the Twitter King Clyde. All right, that's not helping. I was hoping we could find one of these paper alphas to watch. I want to learn how to be a man from somebody in Elton John's pink shoes. Maybe we could watch some Jack Murphy. I want to hear some Jack Murphy masculinity. Man, you cannot find a lot of Jack Murphy. What's going on with Jack Murphy? Come on, he's still on YouTube, isn't he? Fucking Blair White making fun of him. So you can't. Oh God, you can't find him on YouTube anymore. Did he take his YouTube channel down? No, here we go. Jack Murphy live. I want to hear some Jack Murphy. I want to hear from our buddy Jack Murphy. Cooking with Jack Murphy. It involves some of Matt from Tinder's cream sauce. Okay. So I'm going to throw this out here right now because I don't think I'm going to watch it unless y'all motherfuckers pony up with money. Jack Murphy has a video, Can We Learn from the Amish? Now, I don't want to watch that because I just don't want to upset myself. Like, I just don't want to fucking ruin my evening. But if somebody ponies up no less than $10 for me to watch it, I will watch that one. But see, a lot of this is a lot of boomer conservative shit. We got what would the founders think of America? Sculpture that triggers the left. We're triggering the libs, owning the libs. Stuff on the January 6th. Oh, here's one. The globalists want you to be soy-based in body and spirit. I think this one's a winner. I think this one might be a winner.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Oh, no. Oh, Boogie donates $10 and says, let the hate flow through you. Rip on the Amish. Ah, no. Oh, why would you do this? Why would you do this to me? Okay. Fine. Y'all motherfuckers just hate me. $10 is $10, and I need the money right now. Ah. Apparently, Beardson's sidekick Sean reappeared on Twitch, according to Forney here, recently. Someone asked him how things were between here and Beardson, and Sean said that while there wasn't any overt hostility, he doesn't approve of what Beardson was doing. Officially, I would just have nothing to do with that. Like, just... If I was somebody that was in a position where people were asking me that kind of shit, and they're like, what do you think of so-and-so? I don't think of so-and-so. I don't know anything about that. All right. I'm going to watch the fucking Amish one. I can already tell this is garbage. Yeah.
we're primates. We're both very smart, and we're kind of lazy, and we wanna, we wanna have comfort. When we do these things, we take a little bit of our humanity away. When we try to escape the pressures of survival, sometimes we get a little bit carried away and we create these indulgent things, but then, these indulgent things, downstream, they enable, getting away from the brutality of survival. So we can't really throw them all out. But there are a lot of negative externalities, and how do you navigate those things? I always think about the Amish when I'm trying to answer this question, because if you look at the organization of different Amish societies in the sort of the Ordnung, it's called, there's a chart where you can look at different factions and you can see how they've approached technology. So some of them, they really do just live like 1600s German people.
By the way, it's stupid. Why is technology got to stop there? But here's the thing: like, you can argue about, okay, it makes us too comfortable and fine. But I've seen firsthand that there's a different part of humanity you lose when you throw those things away. The entirety of human history has been one of reducing toil and increasing productivity. People bitch about automation, but in a manner of speaking, automation is the entire history of our species. And to throw that stuff away, not just also the entertainment, the arts and entertainment, but also and technology, is to throw away part of the divine spark in you.
They really, like, their way of life is truly indistinguishable from that. You could just transport them back to the 1600s and they'd be fine. And then there are other groups
of Amish. No, they
wouldn't,
by the way, just so we're clear. No, they wouldn't. Because they sneak around that shit all the time. They rely heavily on modern fucking medicine. They rely heavily on modern tech. They sneak around that bullshit as much as they possibly can. They're lousy fucking farmers, okay? Lousy fucking farmers. I know there's always this image of the Amish of being some isolated fucking group. Like they're like off far away from civilization, like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village or some shit. But the reality is no. And they're horrendously bad farmers. And if they truly were isolated from the English, as they call us, they would fucking starve. They can't make their own food for shit. I know they have the little vegetable stand, a lot of them, from their vegetable garden where they sell overpriced fucking bullshit that the tourists buy. But they really can't grow shit. Certainly not at a rate that could fucking feed them. So no, this myth that they'd be just fine. No. Okay? Most of them can't fucking see either. That's the other thing. They're so fucking inbred that half of them have to have these fucking Coke bottle fucking prescription glasses just to be able to go through their day. And you think they know how to make that shit?
Have you heard of Jesus?
Who, they'll use a phone, they'll use cell phones, but the cell phone will be locked up in a cupboard when they're not using it. It's just not a thing that you idly use. You only use it deliberately. You only use it with the intention of calling someone, having a conversation, turning it off, and then putting it away, or listening to your messages. Some Amish don't use showers. They only use baths.
And a lot of Amish barely do that, and they stink to high heaven. They fucking just stink of death. All right, I can't with this. I'm so sick of this shit. Motherfucker, I've forgotten more about the Amish than you know. Fallen Kang, Tim sends $5. Thank you very much for that. All right, we're gonna watch this one. I wanna hear Zach Murphy tell us all how we're a bunch of soy. Nine. John Monkey. So speaking of Jack Murphy, has been doubling down more and more by getting YouTube channels banned and suspended via false flags. Oh yeah, he's not taking his L. He's not taking his L, which isn't very manly, if you ask me. Okay, so let's hear Jack Murphy talk about how we're all too soy.
Tell me what the manifesto is. Tell me what the message is. What is the main theme in Raw Egg Nationalism for people that haven't read it and are going to be interested by this discussion to go out and buy?
I bet you the author of Raw Egg Nationalism looks exactly like that, too. I bet you that's a very accurate depiction of how he looks. Right down to the red eyes. He can actually shoot lasers out of his eyes.
Buy that book.
Salmonella gives you that ability.
And so that they can be influenced by your work and your ideas. What is the manifesto element within the Raw Egg Nationalist book?
Well, what I suppose I'm trying to tell people is that food is political. Food is very, very political today. And certain people would have you eat particular foods for particular reasons and not others. I mean, that's the focus on raw eggs. I mean, is because raw eggs are basically the opposite of the kind of food that a leftist globalist would eat today. You know, and is the opposite of the kind of food that we will all possibly be eating if COP26 and you know the sort of global climate change agenda is enforced. So,
is there a particular reason we're against cooking the eggs? Are we rejecting the modernity of discovering fire? Return to tradition of eating, like, is that what we're doing? Why is it going to be raw eggs? Why can't you cook the eggs? Is that
Frankenfoods, soy, heavy grain-based diet, you know, maybe with some fake meat every now and then.
Have you heard of Jesus?
So I'm trying to tell people basically.
So, Fallen Kang just donated $1. It said the raw coom diet. That's where Jack gets his protein. From the raw coom diet. God, I wish he'd still had fucking comments. By the way, how'd you like to be pimping your book on somebody's show and you took like all this time for the interview and then like a week later that guy's fucking the lead model at cuckoldsessions.com. So he says you eat the eggs raw because different nutrients are activated. Isn't the salmonella also fucking activated? Like, there's a reason we cook eggs. And I'm not trying to like fearmonger, like you're definitely gonna die. I mean, Lord knows when I was a kid, I snuck all sorts of cookie dough and shit. It's got all egg in it. I'm not gonna, but like, you probably ought to cook your eggs. You probably ought to cook your eggs. Okay, I eat a lot of chicken, and trust me when I tell you, I'm not gonna fucking ever eat chicken that's fucking even a little too pink. So I mean, like, I'm pro cooking food. Raw coom diet. That's good. Oh, don't make me laugh too much. I'll start coughing again. Not totally over the coof.
Need to take control of their lives by taking control of their lives by taking control of what they eat, and that is the first step towards, I suppose, a better political settlement for everyone, because the same forces that are telling you that you can't eat red meat, that you shouldn't eat red meat, you shouldn't eat eggs, you shouldn't work out, are the same forces that are trying to deprive you of your private property, reduce you to the status of a modern serf, basically. That's it in a nutshell, really.
Yeah. fascinating to me to hear you say food is political. It truly is. The vision for the general populace in the United States doesn't involve people eating eggs and steak and chicken and fish all the time. It involves you eating a bunch of grain-based slop and fake meats and soy such. And
speaking of slop,
that stuff directly leads to diminished health, which leads to diminished men. You can't have a great society without great men. That's not something I made up. It's all throughout philosophy and history. I think I most recently read it in C.S. Lewis. You have to have great men to have a great nation, and men are what they eat, so feed them a bunch of slop, both metaphorically and actually literally, in order to weaken them. And it's coming at us from all directions, right? It's in the media, it's in your schools, it's in your culture, it's in the politics, it's in your food, it's in your physical aesthetics, it's in your ideas of beauty and art and order. It's in your ideas of what is healthy and what isn't. It's in whether or not being metabolically healthy is a good thing to be. By the way, I'm going to plug my friend's book. Dr. Philip Ovadia just released a book today on metabolic health. It's probably the most important book of the year, I'd say, because if everybody had read and listened to this book 2 years ago, 5 years ago, we may not have been in the circumstances that we are in most recently. So go and check that out. Metabolic Health by Dr. Philip Ovadia. It's for sale today.
2 years ago, they wouldn't have unleashed a fucking bioweapon on us. And then, even though it wasn't killing that many people, still just forced us into our homes. Oh, Lordy. All I want to do is make chugging jokes about like him eating the coon. Somebody says that explains why I regrettably voted for Obama back in 2008. I ate too much soy. Now it makes sense. LOL. Well, in all fairness, in 2008, I mean, it was a little more excusable. Like, I can't help you if you voted for him in 2012, but I mean, 2008, I think we were all pretty pissed off at the Republicans, in all fairness. The raw coon diet. That was good. I don't know who said that, but that was good. I don't know who Fallen Kang was, but... Cooking with Jack Murphy. He says I voted for Obama because I hated McCain. I don't really think I can't remember if I voted for Obama or not. Part of me was leaning towards doing that. I think I flipped a coin and ended up like writing in Ron Paul. But yeah, I certainly didn't want fucking McCain to win. I will admit the first time I ever voted in a presidential election was 2004, and I voted for Kerry. Because fuck W and fuck the Iraq War and fuck all that shit. It wasn't because I liked John Kerry. It was just fuck W. I mean, I voted for fucking Mitt Romney in 2012. It wasn't because I liked Mitt Romney. Just fuck Obama. Let's see. He says he can make a comeback using a cookbook with that title. Cooking with Jack Murphy. How to cook with fucking coon. That's so nasty. Liminal orders party cuck salad. Jeez. Oh. Jeez. There's no way you can hear him talking about you are what you eat or anything like that ever again. Just laughing your ass off at it. Alright, well, I don't know. I'll probably go ahead and wrap this up here soon. Folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, to consider supporting the show. Streamlabs.com/thebechtloff. You can send a donation even when I'm not live, and I'll see it when I am live, and go ahead and read it. PayPal.me/thebechtloff and thebechtloff.store should be a direct link to the wish list. If you want to buy me some of the dumb shit that I like.